Back in studio, short week, 49ers 2-0, turning around from the big win over the Rams down at SoFi, their first home game of the season, to the home opener at Levi's Stadium against the New York Giants on Thursday night. And the 49ers injury report is very short still, but there is a significant name on it now. There's a name of a starter on it, and that is the receiver Brandon Aiyuk. The 49ers did not practice yesterday, but they did have to release by NFL rules, since they play on Thursday night, a participation estimation report. So if there had been a practice on Monday, who would participate, who wouldn't have participated, and the 49ers listed Brandon Aiyuk with his shoulder issue as a DNP. Did not participate. There wasn't actually practice, but if there had been, he wouldn't have been expected to participate on Monday. So that immediately thrusts Brandon Aiyuk's status for Thursday night into question. We'll be down at Levi's Stadium at the practice facility a little bit later today, Tuesday. If Aiyuk does not practice, well, then it's not looking good for Thursday. And even if it's close, maybe the 49ers err on the side of caution because this is a short week. Aiyuk hurt his shoulder on his first catch against the Rams. Nice catch, but he fell to the ground and it looked like a lot of weight landed on his shoulder. We don't have the exact prognosis for Brandon Aiyuk yet, but we do know that he's the 49ers' top X receiver. We do know he's in a contract year. We do know he had an awesome training camp carried over into a great start to this season against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's probably a guy that, again, if sitting him does help him get healthy quicker, and that might be the case here, then it's something that the 49ers probably will do, because Brandon Aiyuk is a guy who's so important to this offense, and they do have a lot of cushion here facing the New York Giants. The 49ers are 10-point favorites. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to take some of your questions, and we're going to talk about the 49ers' next opponent as they try to move to 3-0. How about Ronnie Bell's reps? A lot of them in the place of Brandon Aiyuk, the rookie out of Michigan, against the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. Brad, who runs the fan page, the SF Niners, give him a follow. He was watching some tape, and he put this up on Twitter. That's Ahkello Witherspoon, former 49er, 44 with the Rams, becoming very, very frustrated that Ronnie Bell just blocked the crap out of him. And Brad then rewound this place. Make sure you follow Brad because he saw this. He did this nice little rewind. This is really funny. The pancake from Bell. Witherspoon frustrated, shoves Bell off of him, tries to talk crap, and Bell just walks away. I mean, this is too good. I got to watch this again. Shades of Jawan Jennings here. This is what Jennings does to piss off opposing defensive backs. And I mean, this is a former 49er defensive back, although Witherspoon was only with the team through 2020. The pancake, boom. The pissed off Witherspoon right here throws Bell off of him, tries to get in his face. Ronnie Bell's like, nope, I'm going to leave. And then one of Ahkello Witherspoon's teammates there at the end, that was kind of funny too, had to hold him back. I think that's, is that Darion Kendrick? I couldn't know. Darion Kendrick is number one. But anyway, here, the Rams are in a position where they're losing their cool a little bit due to a 49ers rookie's blocking. And we do know that Jawan Jennings is the specialist in drawing those personal foul flags because of how tough he blocks downfield. And opposing defenses aren't used to it. Apparently, Ahkello Witherspoon wasn't used to it. The 49ers have gotten even more physical since the time that Ahkello Witherspoon was with them. But he did see that 2019 team. He did have to practice against that 2019 team. So maybe he should be a little bit used to it. But I think that the emphasis on receiver blocking has only grown over time for the 49ers. Definitely got under Ahkello's skin there. He might have already been a little bit playing with some ruffled feathers after Christian McCaffrey stiff-armed him or slammed him into the ground. I don't know what Christian McCaffrey put on a stiff arm on his first touchdown run. On the 51-yarder, it was a combination of a stiff arm and a body slam, even as he got tackled. So the 49ers, their skill position players have been exceptionally physical. Other teams have seen the same phenomenon that we saw from Ahkello Witherspoon there with the Rams. They get a little bit upset when they have to face the 49ers' brute strength on the perimeter. Anyway, Ronnie Bell played 27 snaps against the Rams. Played, I think, only 9 or 10 offensive snaps against Pittsburgh. Obviously, the uptick came with Brandon Aiyuk, a little bit limited after hurting his shoulder on the first catch of the game. So I think we'll see more Ronnie Bell if Brandon Aiyuk can't go on Thursday. And, the main thing is that the 49ers have so many offensive weapons. This is what I wrote after the win over LA. Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel power the 49ers over the Rams again. So even if you miss Brandon Aiyuk for a game, you still have McCaffrey, you still have Samuel, who are interchangeable thunder and lightning. They both can bring thunder and lightning. McCaffrey was throwing Witherspoon to the ground, who's stiff arming Rams defenders into the end zone. We all know Deebo Samuel can do that, but he was juking guys on his way to pay dirt. So the 49ers have two interchangeable, adaptable weapons in McCaffrey and Samuel. George Kittle's pretty damn adaptable as well. We talk about Ronnie Bell. We just showed the game tape of him pissing Akello Witherspoon off. Jawan Jennings, I'm talking about him. He had a massive game, I thought, against the Rams. 2 big catches downfield. But Jennings was, the pivot point of the 49ers run blocking in that game. I mean, they were sending him in motion. He was picking guys up on the target, coming off of the motion, which is really tough to do. I mean, you've got to have the agility to do that. It's a moving target. You're moving as well. So you have to be a heat-seeking missile if you're coming in motion, and then you're going to be asked to block on the perimeter in Kyle Shanahan's offense. Jennings did a fantastic job there. So this 49ers team is loaded, and if Brandon Aiyuk does miss Thursday with a shoulder injury, well, these guys are going to play. And I know that they also want to temper some of the workload for Christian McCaffrey, so you'll probably see more Elijah Mitchell for the 49ers. Maybe they even get down to Jordan Mason in this football game, but they don't want McCaffrey getting 20 to 25 touches a week anymore. They probably want to reduce that to about 15 to 20. Kyle Shanahan said that something got lost in translation on Sunday in LA. He said that had he known that Elijah Mitchell didn't get any touches, he would have changed something. So I'm guessing the substitution patterns are determined more by Kyle Shanahan's assistants, and he's got to keep an eye on the big picture. And that simply slipped his attention. Anyway, if you want to read this article on McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, it's $1 a month for The Athletic right now. It's in the description. Go ahead and check it out. One of the nuggets I have in there for you, Christian McCaffrey's on pace for 833 rush yards over expectation, which would completely 3x shatter the number 1 spot, which was held by Nick Chubb, who got hurt last night. So hope the best for Nick Chubb's recovery. But the number 1 spot last year was 250 or 260 rush yards over expectation over the course of a full season. McCaffrey is on pace for 833. That's an NFL next-gen stat using the tracking data. How many yards is a running back picking up over what would be expected of them based on similar parameters for the average running back? And McCaffrey right now, I mean, he's not going to get the same workload that he has through weeks 1 and 2. Kyle Shanahan himself said that, but his pace through the first 2 weeks has him on pace to break the NFL single season rushing record, 2,105 yards that is held by Eric Dickerson. So it's been a historic start for Christian McCaffrey. We know that Deebo Samuel is in his odd year shape, right? 2019, 2021, 2023 is when you get skinny Deebo, and he's playing like it. I mean, he's playing really quick. They've just have firepower all across this offense to the point where I don't think that rushing Brandon Aiyuk back, if that, is what the 49ers have to do to get him on the field Thursday, I don't think that that's something that's necessary, especially in a game that the 49ers are favored by 10 points. Maybe even a little bit over 10, because Saquon Barkley, Adam Schefter reported yesterday the Giants star running back was going to miss maybe 3 weeks. Today, the Giants came out and said their coach, Brian Daboll, said, oh, no, he actually may not miss any time. He might be ready. To that, maybe I should play the factor cap duck. I don't think that Daboll actually means that. I think that he watched some tape of the 49ers and he was like, holy crap, these guys are really good. We've already got our asses kicked by the Cowboys, the other team that's at the top of the NFC right now, 40-0. I better provide as much misdirection as possible heading into this Thursday game, make the 49ers prepare for Saquon Barkley. But it seems highly, highly, highly unlikely that the dual threat star for the New York Giants, somebody who, like Christian McCaffrey, can take handoffs and who can catch the ball out of the backfield, seems very unlikely that Saquon will be ready to go for this football team. Up on Twitter, I've got a quick scouting report of the New York Giants for you. I know I do one of these every week. Maybe I can pop this one open on the screen so we can take a look at what I wrote about the Giants, go through some bullet notes of what's going on. Here we go. Just have to get this open for you up on the screen. I've got, what do I have? Got the article up. Okay, here we go. Sweet. And it is now on the screen. So you can follow me on Twitter at Lombardi himself. Here is the quick scouting report. First, for the Giants, Daniel Jones, their quarterback, fairly fresh off a big money deal worth $40 million annually. That was already, seems like a while ago now. It was in 2023. It was about a year ago at the start of the season where he reset the market. And then obviously the market's been reset several times since then. Joe Burrow, we saw Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs restructure that deal to include 4 years of fully guaranteed money. But Daniel Jones, I mean, the Giants were at a crossroads. They weren't sure, you know, people on the outside were like, do they pay him? Do they not? Is the sample big enough? Has he shown them enough? And really, they decided to pay him because it was a situation of who else? Who else would we get that would be better than Daniel Jones? And I think he acquitted himself decently well last year. He was number 11 in EPA per play, so the efficiency was there. Obviously helped a lot by Saquon Barkley, who probably won't be on the lineup on Thursday. But in the context of the 49ers, Daniel Jones runs the football a lot. Last year, Daniel Jones' scrambling percentage was it was number 2 in the NFL. It was about 10.4%. It was behind only Justin Fields' scrambling percentage. Through 2 games this year, Daniel Jones is scrambling 15.4% of the time. That's behind only Lamar Jackson through 2 weeks, who's at about 22%. So those numbers will lower. You don't see numbers that high over the course of a full season. But my main point is Daniel Jones has been the number 2 most frequent scrambler in the NFL over each of the past 2 seasons. So this will be the first truly mobile quarterback that the 49ers face this year. And we always talk about the issues in corralling mobile quarterbacks, defending them, making sure that the edge rush is disciplined, that the pocket is disciplined for the defensive line. Well, the 49ers are absolutely going to have to do that against the New York Giants, because if there's no Saquon Barkley, who already has 29 carries this year, then Daniel Jones, he has 22 carries. Daniel Jones is going to be a runner in this game. You're probably going to see some read option. In their big comeback against Arizona on Sunday, Jones's legs were very, very pivotal for the New York Giants. 29 carries for Barkley, 22 for Daniel Jones. And then the next highest ball carrier on the list is a familiar name, Matt Breida. He's got 3 carries this year. So Matt Breida hasn't been used a lot. They're probably going to have to turn to somebody like Matt Breida if Saquon can't go. But I think that all focus does need to be directed at making sure that passing situations don't turn into productive running situations for Daniel Jones. The top passing target for him is Darren Waller, the former Raiders tight end. I mean, big guy, right? 6'6". He can climb the ladder. He's fast. He's a mismatch for just about anybody. So, everybody's like, okay, so who's going to cover Waller on the back end? Nobody can do it mano a mano. A perfectly placed pass to Darren Waller against any defender in one-on-one coverage is going to go Darren Waller's direction. He's a great player. That's just how it would work. But it's a team sport. You're not just playing one-on-one against Darren Waller. And the Giants have to pass protect. And if you go back to my scouting report, you see how poorly that went for them in week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys when they lost 40-0. That was right after the 49ers had beaten the Steelers. That was Sunday Night Football in week 1. Dallas delivered, what was one of the most brutal dominations up front that I've ever seen at the NFL level. 39 pressures against the Giants, 7 sacks and 39 pressures. Obviously, Micah Parsons went crazy. And the Giants' biggest problem was on the right side of their line, where Mark Glowinski, who had played at left guard all training camp, he played at right guard, and he gave up 9 pressures. The right tackle next to him, Evan Neal, gave up 8 pressures. So 17 pressures given up on the right side by the New York Giants against the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason I bring up the Cowboys is the Cowboys and the 49ers, those are the two teams right now, along with the Eagles, who look like the class of the NFC. So the Cowboys have an overpowering defense, overpowering pass rush. We all know that. I think the 49ers do too. And look what the overpowering Dallas pass rush did to this New York Giants offensive line. Now, since week one, the Giants have moved Mark Lewinsky back to left guard. So they looked a lot better in their comeback victory over the Arizona Cardinals this week, but we know the Cardinals are trash. And they still fell behind 20-plus points to the Arizona Cardinals, which isn't a good look for the New York Giants. I will say, though, the Cardinals, even though the Cardinals' pass rush is nowhere near what the Dallas Cowboys' pass rush is, it looked like the Giants were much more comfortable up front with their new alignment. No more Mark Lewinsky at right guard. So they took steps forward. They played a much worse team. They were still down big early against that much worse team, but they came back thanks in large part to Daniel Jones and his dual threat capability. And everybody in the NFL is dangerous. But there is a reason the 49ers are favored by 10 points in this game. And part of that reason is, well, I think the 49ers have a big leg up against the Giants defense. The Giants defense was number 29 DVOA last year. They're ranked in that bottom tier of the league. They've got Dexter Lawrence out of Clemson, big interior lineman. Leonard Williams can play all over that defensive line. He's also, so a couple star players up front. But to me, that's all that you really worry about on this Giants defense are the two big boys up front, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. I mean, these guys, they can wreck games, right? So it's one of those situations where you have those two players, they can throw a wrench in anything that you do. But if the 49ers can decently neutralize Lawrence and Williams, this goes back to the Giants defense being a bottom tier unit last year. You should be able to move the ball against these guys with or without Brandon Aiyuk. You just have so many capable eligibles. If you're the 49ers, you can go down two of these guys and still be a team that can produce points. And they've produced 30 in each of their first two games. So that's the quick scouting report of the New York Giants. Again, Brad from SF Niners page, he shared this. Ronnie Bell may be getting a chance to piss off some New York Giants defenders now if Brandon Aiyuk can't go. Did it against Akella Witherspoon last week. The victims this week, if you look at the Giants defense, maybe Trey Hawkins at corner, maybe Adoree Jackson, Deonte Banks. They've got some players on that back end that, people I think know Adoree Jackson, but the back end hasn't been great for the New York Giants. It really hasn't recently, and especially this season. So even if Brandon Aiyuk might miss Thursday with that shoulder injury, I think the 49ers have a really, really good chance of being in business against the New York Giants, thanks in large part to the guys that will definitely play. And that's McCaffrey, that's Deebo Samuel. You could even see Ronnie Bell in that picture, actually, in the background. That's a great shot. Ronnie Bell out of focus, Deebo, Christian McCaffrey in focus. Really nice photography. Who do we credit for this one? Let's see. Scrolling down. Gary Vasquez, USA Today. Nice. Nice shot, Gary. Gary Vasquez, USA Today, with this picture of McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, and Ronnie Bell. All right, let's open it up to 49ers Q&A. I'm headed down to the facility. I have to be there in 2 hours, so I have a little bit of time. Back in the city, Tahoe was great. Really, really good dinner last night in San Francisco. We went to Dumpling Kitchen out on Taraval and 29th or 30th Avenue. The word was that it was one of the best spots in the Bay Area or even California, and I think it came through. I'll share video of that at another time, though, because I don't have it readily available. It's actually on my phone, and my phone is currently my camera. So 49ers Q&A, going to open this up and ask everybody to smash the like button. Yeah, I was out in the avenues yesterday. Margot's a massive dumpling fan. And so Dumpling Kitchen had been recommended to me, and we went out there, and it was really good. I got some nice video of the food, so we'll be in touch with that shortly. Oh, 49ers have a signing right here. So we can go ahead and talk about the news right on the screen. Hold on. This is from Adam Schefter. Former Cowboys cornerback Anthony Brown, who tore his Achilles while with Dallas last season and was on Pittsburgh's practice squad until this week, signed today with the 49ers 53-man roster. So Anthony Brown, let me do this in real time, do some reporting in real time. Put it up as a banner. 49ers sign cornerback Anthony Brown. There we go. I'm going to open up the roster and we'll put Anthony Brown on it. Then we'll talk a little bit about the 49ers acquisition. Here we go. I'm going to. All right. So here's this. This is the 49ers 90-man depth chart. As you can see, they have an empty 53-man roster spot. They actually might have two right now based on my counter, unless my counter is off. But they definitely have room for Anthony Brown. And they have one more. So I think my counter is off. I think they only have one 53-man spot and one 70-man spot, which includes Alfredo Gutierrez. So we'll put Anthony Brown here at the backup left cornerback spot behind Charvarius Ward. That's exactly where he slots in. Now, the reason the 49ers needed to make that signing is because Samuel Womack is on injured reserve with his knee injury. That's an MCL injury. He's going to be out, I think, 4 to 6 weeks is what they're predicting, maybe even 6 to 8 for Samuel Womack. We'll see exactly how long that takes. Ambry Thomas has struggled a little bit for the 49ers. I didn't think Charvarius Ward was particularly good against the Rams. We never see Charvarius miss a tackle, and he missed the sack of Matthew Stafford. You're not going to bench Ward, though. But Anthony Brown might be somebody who can challenge Ambry Thomas for playing time if the 49ers decide that they want more and more of Diamond Lenore in its slot. Now, Isaiah Oliver was good for the 49ers against the Rams at that slot position, but they still plan to mix and match him. He's not going to be on every shifty receiver. So Oliver had a good game. If Oliver gets more time, Lenore plays on the outside. Lenore had the big pick against Matthew Stafford. He's opposite Charvarius Ward. But if Lenore's on the inside, it's Ambry Thomas who's on the outside because Ambry Thomas is a better outside cornerback option than Isaiah Oliver. So that's why the 49ers today picked up Anthony Brown. They needed to spruce up the cornerback room with some talent. So Anthony Brown played at Purdue, was with the Cowboys from 2016 to 2022. 6th-round pick, 5'11 corner. Steelers practice squad. So the 49ers poached him from the Steelers practice squad. He's a Purdue product. And he's coming off a season-ending injury with the Cowboys last year. It was a torn Achilles. So the 49ers probably decently satisfied with his physical potential coming off of that injury, but it happened in week 13 last year. So that week 13 is December of last season. It's only been 9 months since the torn Achilles. I know you can come back much more quickly than that. Aaron Rodgers is talking about using the internal brace procedure now for the Achilles. Brock Purdy obviously used the internal brace for his torn UCL. He was ready to go after about 4 months, but Achilles have definitely been injuries that take a little bit longer to regain that quickness from, if you can regain it at all. So Anthony Brown, 9 months out of that injury, he's going to be a depth piece for the 49ers to start, and we'll see if they need to turn to him or if he can integrate himself into that cornerback position. I want to get some stats up here for you on Anthony Brown. Let's see. See what his years with the Cowboys looked like statistically. A lot of Anthony's in the NFL. All right. Actually, not a bad corner here. I could show you. This is up on PFF. They've got a nice little way to see his entire career. 6th round pick of the Cowboys, as I said. All right, here he is, Anthony Brown. This is his last season. These are all of it. Yeah, I could probably need to make this disappear at the bottom so you could see his season by season. Yeah, I'll take this off. So you can look at the bottom here, the season grades. There's a little bit of green in there. You'd rather have the green than the yellow or the orange year by year. As far as interceptions go, it looks like he's been able to notch picks in almost every single season he's been in the NFL. Nothing last year but 6 pass breakups. 2021, 4 interceptions. 2020, 2 picks. 10 career interceptions. I mean, it's not – and a good passer rating against him, 96.3 is these days is not very high. If you could keep it under 100 as a cornerback, you're doing something right. Looked like Anthony Brown's best season in coverage came – well, he didn't play as much in 2019. So I would say his best season in coverage was in 2021, which wasn't all that long ago for the Cowboys. Played 1,111 snaps, 4 interceptions, 12 pass breakups, passer rating of only 82.9 into his coverage. Tore his Achilles last season. So solid numbers from Anthony Brown. And we'll see how he looks coming off of that injury. So there's your 49ers update. I'll probably record a separate video for this in a little bit. Mike says it's a good pickup. What does everybody think? Well, if Trey Lance is giving the Cowboys intelligence on the 49ers, Anthony Brown can give the 49ers intelligence on the Dallas Cowboys. The spilling of the beans can go both ways. We'll see how the 49ers play on the outside against the Giants. There are risks to everything. Matthew Stafford was tremendous with the short game against the 49ers. I don't think schematically the 49ers, I think they were off on some of their zone coverage on the back end, but I think that Matthew Stafford was putting that ball in with pinpoint precision there for a half plus until the 49ers really started getting a beat on where he was going. And it's early in the season. You don't have much current film on these, the new pickups for these opponents. So it's going to take some time for the 49ers, I think, to diagnose what exactly they're going to want to do against the Giants. They'll probably be quicker than what they diagnosed against the Rams. But if they decide that they want to bring the corners up against the New York Giants and they think that that's going to be a strategy that mitigates risk, then they'll do it. I don't know how they're going to play. I'm not sitting in on these meetings, but I do like to watch the base defense on drive 1, and I do like to see the adjustments after drive 1, or in the case of the game against the Rams, the adjustments post halftime for the 49ers. Yeah, and I'm wondering if there was something wrong with Charvarius in this game, because it didn't seem like he had the physicality or the first step that he normally does. There's that one crosser from Puka Nacua where Ward didn't get his hands on him at all at that release point, and that meant he couldn't keep up with Puka Nacua. And, you don't see that too often from Charvarius Ward. He played as a top 10 corner for the 49ers last year. And then, he was the number 1 tackling cornerback in football last year, missed only 1 tackle all season. So for him to miss Matthew Stafford, who's not all that mobile, on the cornerback blitz was really surprising to me. It made me scratch my head and say, hey, is this guy 100%? What's going on here? I don't want to speculate. Maybe it was just an off game, but it'll be something to watch here moving into week 3, week 2.5 with a Thursday night game. Do we need to see a passing touchdown from Purdy? I don't think the 49ers need a passing touchdown from Purdy necessarily to win this game. However they score is how they score. They've scored 30 twice, so it doesn't really matter how it happens. You just keep it balanced and keep the line moving. Purdy does have a truck commercial. I saw that. That was pretty funny. Now, I was watching the commercial without any sound. It was kind of non sequitur. It was like, oh, there's the 49ers facility. Oh, it's nighttime. Brock Purdy's working out. Oh, there's a truck. I'm not sure how they tied all that together. Hopefully they did with some sort of logic, but it was like Purdy working out, truck. Purdy working out, truck. I guess he drives his truck to work out. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but it was funny. Was it Toyota? I think it was Toyota. Toyota gets some product placement in the Lombardi Live. What is it? 11:44? Yeah, it's 11:44. Gonna have to head down to the facility here in a little bit. I mean, what's wrong with Purdy? He played another efficient game. Yeah, he missed a couple throws. So what? I mean, there's very rarely an NFL game in which an NFL quarterback doesn't miss at least one or two throws. In Purdy's case, he missed three, and he overheated them. That was one thing. It wasn't like he was underthrowing them. He overheated them. Fine. He missed some tough throws downfield. Those weren't easy throws. Moves on to the next one. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with him. It's kind of how football works. There's chaos out on that field. It's not Madden on rookie mode where you can just press X or whatever on your controller and the ball goes straight to a player. This is actually living, breathing football. And the fact that the 49ers were taking those shots, that Purdy was taking those shots, the receivers were open, that tells me a whole lot more than him missing on a couple of those. I mean, this is a season-long kind of thing that the 49ers are going to be working on. I guarantee you those misses are just the beginning. This offense is way too talented to not be hitting on some of these deep shots later in the season. And Purdy has been accurate. He's been the most accurate quarterback of all time on intermediate passes so far. It's good, completing like 84% of his intermediate passes. It's insane between last year and this season. So lose me with the worry on the 20-plus yarders. I think they're going to be fine at some point. Yeah, it's technically still his rookie year. Played half a season last year and didn't lose. Literally, any game that Purdy finished with an intact elbow, the 49ers have not lost. That's all you can say. Where do I report from at Levi's Stadium? I report from the press box. Well, first from the field, during the game from the press box, and then from the locker room after the game. Then, I'll be walking down the hallway and I'll give you my instant reaction right after the game. Shanahan said yes, that was too much McCaffrey usage. He wants to play it a little bit safer, so we should see more Elijah Mitchell in week 2. Purdy also hit Kittle last year that was the touchdown that he stole from Ray McCloud against Washington. So, I mean, one thing that people need to realize is that throws over 20 yards in the air across the league, there's only like a 30% completion rate. You're going to miss more of those shots than you make. Purdy was 1 for 4, right? He hit Juwan Jennings on the 34-yarder. So he was at 25%, just a little bit below league average on throws further downfield in this game. And I'm sure he'd like to have the other ones back, and he has got to have more chances. They still put up 30, and they still won. Kevin says 4 more sacks and 2 more interceptions for the 49ers defense on Thursday. Well, given the fact that the Giants gave up 7 sacks and 39 pressures to the Cowboys, I think it's really possible. Again, I'm talking about it. The Giants have reshuffled the offensive line. They've moved Mark Lewinsky from right guard to left guard. He was really struggling on the right side because he hadn't practiced there in camp. So they're probably better than they were against the Cowboys, but still, it's hard to be as bad as they were. And I think the 49ers definitely have an opportunity to capitalize on that. This is all that it comes down to. Brock Purdy can definitely make every throw on the field. See, there was so much hand-wringing. Oh, my God, he doesn't have the arm strength, especially after surgery. He won't have the arm strength. He was overheating deep passes. He's just got to add more touch now, shake off a little bit of rust. Even with the rust, he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in football to open the season. Why don't we do our weekly Brock Purdy stat check-in right now? Probably a good time to do that. And this way we could see Daniel Jones and all those guys as well. We could finish with this, our weekly Brock Purdy stat check-in. I just have to pop this open on the screen for you. Here we go. This is from Summer Sports, which has been a cool new resource open up this year for advanced statistics. So I believe I have, this is 2023. I've sorted this by scramble percentage, scramble yards. Scramble percentage right now, you see Daniel Jones of the 49ers face on Thursday. Second highest scramble percentage behind Lamar Jackson. All right, let's do EPA per play. Brock Purdy's number 3 following 2 weeks of football. Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa, and Brock Purdy, followed by Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Jimmy Garoppolo, and you've got to go quite a ways down to find Daniel Jones. There he is down here. Daniel Jones is not at a good start, but you would expect that. I mean, they had that big loss to the Cowboys, 40-0, and then a comeback against the Cardinals. Question about Brandon Aiyuk. Do I think he's going to be a game-time decision? I'm not sure. Well, we'll see tonight. I don't know. Not worth speculating on that. We haven't even seen if he's going to practice this week yet. That's going to happen later today. You know what? That offensive line for the Rams might be above league average. They were bad, especially against the 49ers in the past, but with Steve Avila, that new left guard out of TCU, it appears that Noteboom is playing in position now, right? It seems that left tackle was not the spot for Joe Noteboom. He really struggled against the 49ers in week 4 last year. I've been impressed with the Rams O-line in both of the first 2 weeks of the season. 49ers had a blitz to really get that effective pressure on the Rams. And the blitzes ended up working. The adjustments worked. But I think the Rams have taken a step up front, which is really important. And it might make them a stronger team than when they had a lot of those star players like Jalen Ramsey last year because they weren't good enough up front. I mean, you could have all the bells and whistles of the skill positions, but if your line, the O-line in front of Stafford, isn't getting the job done, that's a big problem. It seems that the Rams O-line has done a decent job, a really good job in week 1 and decent enough against the 49ers. The 49ers just had more overall firepower than the Rams. All right, I got to head down to the facility. I think 37, 38 minutes is enough. Make sure you go check out the article, which is going to be up on the screen right now. It's going to be in the description. $1 a month for The Athletic. You can read all about Christian McCaffrey's historic start. He is on pace to break the NFL single-season rushing record. I understand he probably won't sustain that pace, but he still is doing some awesome stuff, and I detail that. The Thunder and Lightning combination with Deebo Samuel gives you insight into the 49ers offense, and it should help you visualize what they will do in case Brandon Aiyuk misses Thursday's game, which is definitely possible. I'm going to be off to the 49ers facility now. Updates for you throughout the course of the day from the 49ers facility. So we'll have more word on Brandon Aiyuk, who is dealing with that shoulder injury. All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Hello again from the studio, back from Tahoe. Now we're going to settle in for Thursday night's game against the New York Giants. Bye now. Have a great day. Talk to you very, very soon.